Hello everyone and welcome to the Consolation final of the Intel Extreme Masters Season 2 LA Challenge. So this is it. This is the match for the last remaining slot in the finals of the main event. The winner of these two players here is gonna go there. The loser is gonna end up on rank 3 of this LA Challenge. Is gonna go home with, I believe, $2,000 prize money, but is not going to be qualified for the finals of the main event, whereas the winner is gonna go to those finals, is gonna join Lin, who's already waiting in the grand final of this LA Challenge, and is also gonna play in the grand finals of this LA Challenge for the prize money for the first place, which is $12,000, and second place, just to finish that, is gonna get, I believe, $5,000. And our two competitors are Lucifer, who had to fight his way through the lower bracket, being defeated earlier in the tournament by Lin, and his opponent FoCuS, coming from the winner bracket finals, where he also lost to Lin. And FoCuS thus far is of course playing standard. He's playing Blade Master, usual 2 burrows here before the shop, before the tech. So he's gonna get a pretty steady grunt production early on. And more interestingly, Lucifer decides to go for a Fiend build here. We've seen him play both Ghouls and Fiends in the tournament thus far, and Fiends have worked out way better for him. And every time he did this build thus far, he has built a ton of Fiends early on and waited extremely long with his tier 2 tech. We'll see if he's going to stick with that. As I said previously, so far in the tournament, that has worked out for him pretty nicely. And FoCuS, on the other hand, builds the proxy shop here outside of his base, which could potentially be working out very nicely against the build of Lucifer. At least, you know, the way this can be used and has often been used in the years after this tournament took place, because with this build, what you can also do is grab a circlet at the shop, creep this, get some heal staffs and heal, and then be right there when the opponent starts creeping his first orange camp or first green camp, and then you just need to kill one skeleton and the Blade Master is going to be level 2 and is going to have a pretty decent time usually in dealing with the opponent's creeping. But that's not at all what's going to happen here. Lucifer is scouting with his first Fiend here, and he's going to get very aggressive. The first creep is going to focus though, but he has taken a lot of damage already. You know, keep in mind that he grabbed this little green camp first, so this creep has been delayed by a lot, and Death Knight is already coming in from the back, and I guess this Blade Master is going to have to start running here. 2 coils will be his demise, but he picks up a speed scroll as well as heal staffs, and therefore he's going to be able to survive for the time being, but his creeping is going to be extremely slow here. The Blade Master is not going to be able to tank any damage for the time being, and both of his grunts have taken a lot of damage already as well, so can FoCuS even contest his creep camp currently against the undead forces that are here? I mean, this Null Warden should definitely be going to Lucifer, and we'll see what's going to happen to the Null Overseer. The Blade Master does have 1 Windwalk remaining for the moment, and it looks like Lucifer doesn't really want to just sit here and deal damage to this Null Overseer while potentially giving FoCuS the chance to finish it off. So FoCuS is going to go for that again. But it looks like also Lucifer is not just going to be willing to give that up for free, so the fight is going to continue for the Null Overseer, and now Lucifer has the vision again. FoCuS is going to have to abandon this for the time being. Has taken quite a bit of damage on his Blade Master once again, and you can already see in this early game how much of a difference the early purchase of that Circlet of Nobility can make. The Blade Master really struggling here to keep in touch with the DK, who's coiling a little bit too early here, but the backstab is not coming in. Nevertheless, DK also picks up the Claws of Attack +6, so very, very decent early game for Lucifer here. FoCuS in the meantime has started his tech already. He's about 2/3 done. Second burrow is coming with a third burrow, of course, is coming with the proper timing, so that's not going to be too late or anything. His second hero will be produced as soon as tier 2 finishes, but Lucifer is doing a good job here, keeping FoCus's Blade Master on the HP. And yeah, look at it, once again, Lucifer hasn't even started his tech, whereas FoCuS is soon to be done with it, so he's almost an entire tech length behind once again with the strategy. But as I said previously, so far it has worked out pretty well for him. And he's going to be able to pick up the shop here, pick off the shop here as well. These peons clearly coming too late for the repair. So right, DK with a tiny bit of an XP advantage, but the difficult phase is about to start here for Lucifer, as he's going to have a ton of Fiends and a Death Knight against the Blade Master and the second hero of his opponent, which could likely be the Shadow Hunter, which would grant a lot of map control to FoCuS in the upcoming minutes before the Lich is out, before the tier 2 of Lucifer can come into play. But once again, FoCuS is being found here in his creeping endeavors with the Blade Master, so yeah, currently, at least until the second hero arrives, which is by the way the TC, not the Shadow Hunter. Interesting choice here by FoCuS. Definitely seems to be a more late game minded strategy here by him. So for the time being, with a level 1 TC, he's not going to be able to do all too much against the creeping here of his opponent. I mean, yeah, level 1 Stomp is okay, but you know, that's not going to help him just force Lucifer to stay passive for the time being, at least as far as I can tell. So therefore, I think it's to be expected that FoCuS is going to focus, no pun intended here, on creeping for a little bit. Adding a Beast Tree is not adding a Spirit Lodge here. And TC, yeah, especially given that he skilled the Endurance Aura first here, is definitely going to start doing some creeping. The Blade Master is out of mana. There's no way in hell he can do anything about this creeping here. And yeah, Lucifer is getting quite a bit of creeping done here with his DK. If he can creep this one as well, I think he's going to be very well leveled. TC starts creeping in the meantime, going for another little camp, not all too ambitious. The skeleton is right there, but I don't think that Lucifer is going to go for a creep check here or anything like that. Because yeah, he's better off just creeping a bigger spot on his own. He knows that the Blade Master cannot be there because he just chased him away, and the Blade Master didn't have any mana, so therefore this Death Knight and the Fiends are fine just taking a big camp here. It's like FoCuS is gonna go straight ahead and creep the expansion up here, but that could prove to be a huge risk, especially seeing with the Blade Master that the undead army is coming in, and yeah, he decides not to go for the creep. Would have been very, very risky, and as we can see, Lucifer is coming in there right now, seeing if he can maybe land the creep check, but that's not going to be happening here. TC and the Grunts are trying to outmaneuver the undead army, and Snare is soon to be finished. Another Grunt is coming. In the meantime, tier 2 on the side of the undead. Burrow is coming, Lich is coming, Slaughterhouse is not coming just yet. Lucifer is lacking a bit of lumber. He did not add a third lumber ghoul during the tech, which usually undeads yeah, always tend to go for. And wow, nice dodge here with the Burrow against the Ensnare. And is Lucifer actually preparing to go into a fight here? I mean, he's against very low leveled Orc heroes, level 1 and 2. He's got a level 3 DK, and he's gonna have Frost Armor as part of his army in just a second. And I think, yeah, the timing for FoCuS to make anything happen is about to be over here. Wow, very greedy by Lucifer, dropping the Mantle of Intelligence before using the Wand of Mana Stealing, just to get a little bit more mana out of it, but he's getting away with it. Once again, dodging an Ensnare here with the Fiends. Yeah, very much on point with this micro thus far in the game. He reaches out for the coil, but the Raider just runs out of range. Perhaps he's still gonna end up getting it, unless the TC spends a Stomp here, decides not to do so, but the Raid is actually surviving with 11 HP. Still, this doesn't make things a lot better for FoCuS here, as Lucifer seems to be in the driver's seat and FoCuS is running away. Did he rebuild the shop in the meantime? Yes, he did. So does have more heal salves. He still has TP on the Blade Master. He did pick up the boots at the shop, but he has 0 items, and he's got a total of 116 XP on this Blade Master. Wow, tier 3 still not started. Okay, never mind. I was just wondering if perhaps Lucifer ends up going for a big tier 2 all in here, given how well he's been able to keep his opponent from leveling. But yeah, that's not going to be happening. Tier 3 is just a little bit late because of the lack of lumber ghouls. By the way, in the meantime, he has added a third one. And both of them continue creeping a bit. FoCuS solo creeping his TC here, which is of course very useful, you know, when looking at that hero. But at some point he's gonna have to do something about this low level Blade Master, because he really needs to rely on the Blade Master's damage output here in combination with the crowd control of the TC Stomp. But as long as this Blade Master is such an easy target, I guess that's going to be difficult to pull off. So is he going for a counter push here? He's getting the kill on a statue here, but I think it's going to be FoCuS is going to have to townport because he's just going to lose, excuse me, all of his burrows. And yeah, this FoCuS is townporting first. Fiend's burrowed here immediately. Lucifer very much still on point with his burrows, seeing that the Kodo spawned right next to the Fiends and just going for the burrow there. Town portals have been exchanged and an expansion by FoCuS, but look at Lucifer's scouting here with the skeleton. Sees it immediately and, well, will he go ahead and cancel that expansion? In the meantime, FoCuS has added a Kodo Beast, he's got a couple of Raiders. I would say this, since there's no tier 3 yet, there's no orb yet, no statues yet, this would be a very good time for FoCuS to fight usually if his Blade Master wasn't as terribly leveled, perhaps if his TC was level 3 as well. By the way, he found Period of Vitality down here and a Claws of Attack +6 as it appears at the null camp up here. Lucifer in return still has the claws from the beginning on the Lich now. Looks like he's waiting for tier 3 to finish. Wants to pick up the orb, wants to just get in a very good position to fight here. He's also got the Sacrificial Skull, so this points very much towards him planning a push against this expansion of FoCuS. And FoCuS, yeah, no, wow, once again, Lucifer dodging the ensnare here. FoCuS knows that he needs to make something happen here, I feel like. He's got 6 grunts here, 2 raiders, a Kodo Beast, which is very nice against a large number of Fiends. Let's see, his Destroyer upgrade is coming just now. He's only going to have 2 Destroyers, so this is still going to be, you know, I guess a number that can be dealt with from FoCuS's point of view. Imagine, you know, 5 mana Destroyers here, then these grunts will be in a very tough spot. Expansion is soon to finish. It looks like Lucifer is moving out right now. Destroyer upgrade can never be finished yet though. It's only halfway finished and he's still going for the fight already. And snares on the first Fiends. The first one gets coiled. There's the Sacrificial Skull being used. So Lucifer is getting at least some Blight support in this fight. Frost Armor used on the first Fiend. Well, one of them has already fallen. The Stomp is hitting okay against the Ghouls that Lucifer brought as well. But the Fiends are pretty much unchallenged here. One of them gets burrowed before the Kodo Beast can eat. Another Stomp did hit pretty well against the Fiends. So the fight could have started a lot worse for the Orc player, but just as I said, the Blade Master gets killed. As I said previously, a very easy target given that he was so low on levels. The Kodo Beast is marching forward. Lucifer able to coil the Lich here in time, not really all too much damage output against that one. And now finally Destroyer upgrade has finished his Morphing game immediately, and this could perhaps turn this fight around, just given how much damage output all of a sudden is going to be available against these grunts. And yeah, look at them just melting one by one. One Raider is left standing, but he's going to be falling. And yeah, that's gonna make the micro task for FoCuS a lot harder all of a sudden. He's got decent damage output against the light armored destroyers right now with the Headhunters and the Kodo Beasts, but he's got no ensnare and he's got a TC that is out of mana, so he's got no Stomp either. Lucifer is actually losing one of his destroyers here against all of that piercing damage. And well, despite Lucifer starting the fight here without having Destroyer upgrade finished, it still looks like FoCuS is going to be the one running away here at the end of it. The Kodo Beast is left standing as well as 2 very low HP units, and this TC Blade Master is not being revived just yet. And the expansion is running, but I mean, I guess that one has an expiration date, and that has nothing to do with how much gold is in that mine. So at least all of the PNs are gonna get killed here. The TC is coming back. Use the Clarity. He's gonna have 2 Stomps in the upcoming battle. And it looks like he's maybe waiting for some reinforcements, but Lucifer was aware here, pulling his statue back into his own main base. So some good awareness there on both sides. And thus, okay, he decides not to fight here. He had 1 coil, no Nova currently. Was that really such a bad position to fight for Lucifer is the question. Well, 2 ensnares again, the Kodo Beast, well, just now finished devouring the Fiend, 2 Stomps. I guess he achieved basically everything he wanted to achieve here. The expansion is not going to be running for a little while. more skeletons being sent over there. And, well, this Death Knight is very close to level 5, so I guess that's what Lucifer is going to be aiming for next. It looks like he's going to try and get it at the Goblin Merchant. Let's see if he keeps the Lich away to get this DK up to level 5 with one spot. And yeah, look at the difference in experience that we're going to be seeing here in just a second. Root Braces is of course terrible. So he's selling it immediately for 200-ish gold. But yeah, the XP difference to just... Wow, he's even reaching level 5 without keeping the Lich away here thanks to the Tome of Experience. And he's adding a Dark Ranger as well to yeah, silence here, both for some nuking action against the Blade Master, who's now back with 600 HP and a heal potion, as well as silencing the TC here to circumvent the Stomp. And yeah, we have 5, 3.5, 1 against 2 and 4. That is the big issue here for FoCuS. He has the expansion running right now. TP, yeah, is coming in right now again. There was Amulet of Spell Shield, which is definitely the worst item he could have found there. There isn't a single spell on the Orc side that is only cast on a single target, and therefore all this item is going to provide for Lucifer is some additional gold. 300 to be more precise. Well, not quite, because he's already in low upkeep. But still, yeah, some additional utility there in the upcoming fight. He's got a Invo Potion in the meantime, bought a Mana Potion right now, and the Death Knight doesn't have a Town Portal, so he's really going for it here. But I think the situation is looking quite promising. Silence is coming in on both the Orcus. Heal Potion had to be passed onto the TC immediately, and still he's extremely low on HP. A few of the destroyers have been ensnared here. Stomp is coming in, only hitting the ghouls, and the TC gets nuked in return, so only the level 2 Blade Master is now gonna have to carry. But is that really going to be enough? Nova is coming in once again, and Lucifer is looking splendid in this fight. Well, there's still a lot of piercing damage output against these destroyers, but what the hell is FoCuS supposed to do against these extremely strong undead heroes here? There's still the Mana Potion on the Death Knight, so he's gonna have a lot more coils to use. The Lich is gonna have another Nova soon if he wants to. Perhaps could also use some Frost Armor. Still keeps his micro up with, yeah, the Burrow action. Blade Master has to stay so passive, he cannot even really contribute in this fight, and Lucifer's just picking off units one by one. It's 55 supply against 39. The Blade Master, yeah, is getting a little bit closer, but immediately gets FoCuS fired. There isn't even Coil Nova necessary to drive this one out of the fight, and FoCuS, with the expansion backing him up, has to call GG here. Pretty interesting game. I think, yeah, a few issues there for FoCuS. I guess he was pretty excuse me, he must have been somewhat surprised of Lucifer's early aggression. You know, having that shop outside of his base, of course, leaves him vulnerable somewhat if you know, he decides to take too much damage while creeping, and Lucifer immediately punished him for that right from the start. And with the TC second, I said it, he was trying to go for a more creeping heavy mid game, but Lucifer just had the perfect answer to it. Got very aggressive at the right time, just forced FoCuS basically to just run across the map, just trying to dodge the large fiend army of the undead, and FoCuS was simply not able to get enough experience on his heroes in that stage where he was the one with map control. And you know, it turns out that finding the balance between getting an XP advantage and keeping Lucifer at bay was something that FoCuS wasn't quite able to get right. And then eventually, basically from the first fight between FoCuS's expansion and Lucifer's main, things were looking pretty bad for the Orc, as he suffered from the consequences of having such a underleveled Blade Master. And yeah, therefore Lucifer is able to win the first game, and we're gonna go to Norwood for map number 2.